Today on MUFC Pulse, we'll dive into some incredibly intriguing news. United dead set on finding Ugate's successor, and Wolves face a selection headache ahead of the clash with United. For more on this story, check out the video. We also have some equally exciting football news coming up, so stay tuned until the end to catch it all. Welcome to MUFC Pulse. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell for more updates. United could see a bid accepted for a potential replacement for Manuel Ugarte. For the first time in 8 attempts, the Red Devils managed a victory with Ugarte in the starting 11, a rather grim statistic that perhaps explains why the Uruguayan has become something of a figure of frustration among the Old Trafford faithful. Having started in just 4 Premier League matches this season, the 24-year-old is yet to truly settle in Manchester. Even after being reunited with his former Sporting CP manager and is said to have received a public dressing down from Ruben Amorim in front of his teammates towards the end of last season. Such is his current standing that reports suggest Ineos would be willing to entertain offers for Ugarte come the new year, as the club's hierarchy plans a major midfield rebuild in 2026. Should Amorim be after a swift solution, then Atletico Madrid's Conor Gallagher could prove to be just the ticket. The Red Devils are reportedly seriously considering a move for the former Chelsea man, whom they've had on their radar for some time. United have been informed of the sort of bid that would be required to lure the 25-year-old Englishman away from the Spanish capital, with Atleti having set an asking price in the region of €30 million. An upgrade is surely essential for Ineos this January, and Gallagher represents something of a bargain option who could slot in seamlessly. He offers much the same tireless running power as Ugarte, but with a far more impressive end product to boot. Bad news piles up for Wolves ahead of their trip to Old Trafford. The 19th matchday of the 2025-2026 Premier League season promises a classic David versus Goliath encounter when Manchester United welcome Wolverhampton Wanderers to Old Trafford on Tuesday evening. This second Boxing Day fixture sees United heavily favoured. Not only do they have home advantage, but the Red Devils head into the game brimming with confidence after thrashing Wolves at Molineux earlier this season and securing a vital victory over Newcastle United in their most recent outing. The contrast could hardly be starker for Wolverhampton, who currently languish at the very foot of the table in 20th position. Under the stewardship of manager Rob Edwards, the side have yet to taste victory in any of their 7 matches since he took charge in November. They sit rock bottom with a measly 2 points from 18 league fixtures. Their defensive record makes particularly grim reading, 39 goals conceded so far this campaign, with the latest 5 Premier League matches all ending in defeat and a staggering 11 goals shipped during that wretched run. Wolves' woes have been compounded by an absolute injury crisis decimating their key personnel, starting with Jean-Rickner Bellegarde. The very man who scored Wolves' solitary goal against United in the reverse fixture has been ruled out for 6 weeks or longer. Rob Edwards confirmed that Bellegarde suffered a serious hamstring injury during the second half of their most recent match, requiring assistance to leave the pitch. His name has been conspicuously absent from this week's training sessions. The bad news continues out wide, where Portuguese winger Rodrigo Gomes will undergo surgery following a torn muscle and tendon injury sustained in the Carabao Cup tie against Chelsea. Due to the poor blood supply to tendon tissue, which slows natural healing considerably, the medical team have opted for surgical intervention. Gomes is expected to be sidelined for between 8 and 12 weeks, a massive blow to Wolves' attacking creativity. The already fragile backline has been further ravaged by the loss of Totai Gomes, ruled out with a significant hamstring problem. Edwards revealed that the first-choice centre-back will be absent for a substantial period, forcing a complete restructuring of the defensive shape. Yerson Mosquera is highly likely to be thrown straight into the starting 11 to plug the gaping hole left behind. In midfield, Marshall Munetsi has also entered the treatment room after picking up a calf injury during the clash with Nottingham Forest. Not only will the Zimbabwean international miss around 6 weeks, but the setback has also dashed his personal hopes. He has been forced to withdraw from his country's squad for this year's Africa Cup of Nations, despite playing a pivotal role in securing their qualification for the finals. The crisis extends even to the goalkeeping department, where backup shot stopper Daniel Bentley remains a major doubt with an ankle injury sustained back in November. While his longer-term prognosis is still being monitored, the issue adds to Bentley's extensive injury history, which already includes previous problems with his groin and neck, leaving Rob Edwards with extremely limited options between the sticks. For young prospect Leon Chiwima, the season has effectively been cut short. The forward suffered an anterior cruciate ligament or ACL rupture whilst representing the under-21. Given the notoriously lengthy recovery time associated with ACL injuries, Chiwima is expected to be out until the end of the 2025-2026 campaign, with a potential return only several months into the new year. This effectively ends any chance he had of aiding the first team in their desperate battle against relegation. To top off the visitors' misery, they must also do without Emmanuel Agbadou for the time being. The reliable centre-back has been called up by the Ivory Coast national team for the Africa Cup of Nations. With Agbadou away on international duty and the lengthy injury list continuing to grow, Rob Edwards now faces what looks like an almost impossible task in attempting to snatch any points from a Manchester United side that are rapidly gathering momentum and sitting comfortably in 6th place in the table. Barcelona's latest on the Marcus Rashford's transfer. Barcelona are bracing themselves for what promises to be a very busy summer transfer window in 2026 as they look to overhaul and strengthen the squad composition. One of the main priorities for the board will be the left-wing position, which is currently occupied by Marcus Rashford on a loan deal from Manchester United. Rashford's arrival back in August came as something of an emergency solution after the Catalan club failed for the second time to secure the services of Nico Williams. The early days of Rashford's time in Spain were rather slow-going, with plenty of challenges as he adapted to his new surroundings. However, things took a turn for the better when he broke into the starting 11 in October. Since then, the England international has been in outstanding form and has become a key figure in Hansi Flick's attacking setup, adding a fresh dimension to the left flank that had been sorely missing. Rashford's desire to make his move to Barcelona a permanent one is hardly a secret anymore. The 28-year-old is said to feel thoroughly settled in Catalonia and is keen to turn the page on his chapter at Old Trafford. This sentiment has been warmly received by Hansi Flick, who believes the player has contributed enormously to the team this season. Reports suggest that Flick has specifically urged the Barcelona hierarchy to push ahead and reach an agreement with Manchester United next summer. The German is delighted not only with Rashford's statistics on the pitch but also with the exceptional professionalism the forward has demonstrated both in the dressing room and during training sessions. Flick's interest in Rashford actually dates back some time. It is understood that the coach had already encouraged the club to pursue the Englishman when the board was still heavily focused on landing Nico Williams earlier in the previous window. Thus, managing to secure Rashford's services towards the end of August was viewed as something of a blessing by the head coach, who has long admired the characteristics of Rashford's game. Despite the mutual desire to continue the partnership, the path towards a permanent deal is unlikely to be straightforward. As part of the initial loan agreement with Manchester United, Barcelona held a purchase option worth €30 million. Technically, this is a very reasonable figure for a player of Rashford's caliber, but the club's ongoing financial difficulties represent the biggest obstacle. The persistent money troubles make it highly unlikely that Barcelona will simply activate the €30 million clause. As a result, they will almost certainly need to reopen negotiations with Manchester United in order to agree a more flexible payment structure. These talks between the clubs are expected to prove rather tricky, given that United will naturally be looking to extract the maximum value from one of their assets. The situation is further complicated by Barcelona's intention to bring in a new centre-back and a striker during the same window. With the club yet to fully return to La Liga's 1:1 fair play rules, funding 3 major signings at once represents quite an ambitious target. The coming months will severely test the club's ability to prioritize its transfer budget allocation. Should Barcelona fail to strike a satisfactory agreement, Rashford will be forced to return to Manchester United at the end of the season. This scenario would come as a bitter blow to the player, who has clearly grown very fond of life in Spain, as well as to Hansi Flick, who now regards him as an indispensable pillar in his long-term tactical plans for Barcelona. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let us know in the comment your opinion.